Yo. If my OBS doesn't like buffer or anything like that, can you guys hear me? Hello? I'm just gonna assume you guys can hear me. Okay, you guys can hear me. Okay, so apparently, whatchamacallit, it's free training point buyback. And, yeah, we're just gonna get some training cards and all that stuff. Pretty awkward video intro, but with the hardware I'm running, I'm kind of lagging, so you know, all that fun stuff. So first, I'm just gonna tell you guys like what cards I would suggest. I mean, these are your training points. You can do whatever you want, and you can get whatever cards you want. But I'm just gonna go with like the main baseline of some of the spells that I think are very helpful in combat, or you know, just overall I think that you should have. You know, stuff like enchantments or shields or anything like that. We're just gonna talk about that and you know all that stuff. So it's free training point buyback. I have what like 55 like whatchamacallit. I have like 55 training points. Yeah, 55 training points. Let's first start off with, I guess, the basics, and let's just talk about Astral Spells. And we're starting in the Arcanum first, because I like the Arcanum because it has access to, like, main majority of the spells. Like, you got the Life School Teacher here, you got the Myth, you know, Death. So, you get the pretty much, like, main majority of all the spells, and including the Astral Spells, too. So, I would definitely recommend, I don't know what Jackson, good. What is happening? He's happy. He's very happy. But you can get the Astral Spells in Celestia, but you know, just in case you're a max level and you know you have Arcanum unlocked, this is a great place to start to get your Astral Spells. So we're gonna go visit our boy Qyburn Stargaze or something like that. I don't know what his name, dude. There are so many characters in this game, man. Yeah, I was right. It was Qyburn Stellagaze. Okay. So, anyway, you're going to go to Qyburn Stellagaze, and we're just going to look at... This is the astral part. This is the enchantments. I'm going to put timestamps in the video because I'm not actually going to be editing this video. I'm pretty much just going to go on, you know, the majority of the world. Well, not all of the worlds because some of the spells spawn everywhere, but I wanted to just talk to you guys about Qyburn. He has all the astral spells. We're going to look at all the stuff that you need, or it just that I would suggest. So first thing we see here is strong. These are the fist spells that we can see. These are basically the battle enchantments that you would use to basically upgrade your type of like attack. And you would need a couple in order to get the epic spell, which can boost your attack damage to 300. So if you're an attacker like a Storm, or just anybody else, pretty much, I think everybody should have this, you know, just when you're enchanting damage spells. Like, if you're not the type to attack, or you have your own clique of, like, friends or stuff like that, and you really don't attack, then you don't really need the enchantments. I would just recommend getting these enchantments. You can also get these enchantments throughout the world, like Azteca, I think, and then you can go to Zafaria. But like I said, if you already have the Arcanum unlocked, then Qyburn Stellagaze has literally everything. So I would highly recommend going for the fist spells, especially if you are whatchamacallit. If you're you know, attacking. And I actually need this too, because I usually have to solo quest most of the time, especially when Test Realm launches, which is coming soon, October. That's usually, you know, when Test Realm starts. And that's when the new world comes out, is actually in November. So I'm just going to unlock all the fist spells, which are the enchantments for your, you know, attack, you know, your attacks. And yeah, we're just going to kick it off from there, and then I get epic. I kind of got to get used to solo questing, especially in, like, Test Realm, because not that many people actually, like, know about Test Realm or just have access to it. Okay, next one. These are the accuracy spells. Now, these are a little tricky, or, you know, you really don't need these. Unstoppable is good because it gives a 10% pierce and a 25% accuracy to your spells that you want to enchant. I don't think you need these. I don't think, like, I've never really had myself really trained for these. Like, I don't think I need, like, 15% pierce. Definitely would recommend it if you're doing PvP or you just have that one Jade guy that you're versing that's just stalling the match, and he has like 50 million resist. You know, if you enchant your spell with this, and then you use a Shadow Strike, that's going to be a lot of pierce, and especially if you have a Pierce Blade, pierces right through the armor or shields and stuff like that. But for the most part, I don't, personally for me, I don't train for this, just because I feel like I don't need it. However, this spell could be useful for some of the bosses that have high resist, like Devourer maybe. So definitely look into that, or if you wanted to, you can just go to the fist spells and all that stuff. Alright, now let's talk about auras. The auras are the things that go around you. You know, Fortify, would highly recommend Fortify, man. This one's right here. You know, you'll be surprised that it will save your life, though. I will say that. It will literally save your life. And I think there's another one called Brace. So in order to get Brace, which is the 20% incoming to spells for 4 rounds, highly recommend this aura. I would highly recommend this aura. For anyone, it doesn't matter. Just get it. It will save your life or your money back guaranteed. And like I said, these are just my suggestions. You can just get whatever spells you want and all that stuff. We're already 6 minutes in the video. That's just insane. Alright. Like I said, Amplify. This will amplify your damage, any damage. They have other damage auras that you can get. But for the most part, these are okay. You got Magnify, which is 20%. Again, that's just for like any type of damage, basically. So universally, this is good to have. I personally don't need it though, just because they have school-specific auras. The school-specific auras like Galvanic Field, Chastisement, Cycle of Life, Devotion, Fairness, Virulence, and all that stuff. You can look at these yourself, but on a regular base note, these will basically give you like a 25% increase in damage, and then you would get a 10% increase to the element of the opposite school. So like, if you use the fire, right? If you use the fire aura, then you get 25% more damage for fire, plus you'll get 5% accuracy, and then you also get a 10% increase to incoming type of ice damage for 4 rounds. So just keep that in mind whenever you're using that. Now some of these, like the life one actually gives you a 5% pip increase. And same thing with the death one, that also gives you a 5% pip increase. So these are all different, just make sure you're looking at it and make sure you're getting the right one for your specific school. Now, going in from this, Vengeance, it will increase your critical, but I don't think you really need to actually get that. I don't think you really need to, like, increase your critical that much. But if you want to, then, you know, go for it. Then there's a secondary one that you can get. Flawless is also pretty good for Pierce, all that stuff. Adapt for incoming pips. We gotta talk about incoming pips. Empowerment, highly recommend. This will basically give you a pip for incoming rank 4 spells, right? I cannot concentrate. Jackson, he's I can't concentrate with him in the background, but you know what? I'm probably not even gonna upload this. Like, I'm probably just talking to myself, but like, whatever. Okay, Empowerment is pretty good. You gain 1 pip for incoming spells that are rank 4. Again, I would highly recommend this one, just because if you have an enemy that spams you with attacks, it's really nice to just have that pip flow, especially if you're a healer. And Adapt is also good, but remember, this is only for rank 6, so you'll get a power pip for any incoming rank 6 spells, which we tend to see with some of the higher end bosses, so definitely one of my favorites. Now, speaking of healing, I haven't forgotten about all you people with Jade gear that have the Life Mastery Amulet and spam Pixies. Don't worry, I haven't forgotten about you. We have some healing auras for you that can help. We got Mend, we got Cycle of Life, and then we actually have something that upgrades Mend, which is Renew. So, here's, for me, this is just me. I personally don't need these healing auras, right? Like, I don't need any of these healing auras. The one I would recommend getting is Cycle of Life. Now, the reason for this is because Cycle of Life, this one gives you a 25% outgoing healing, plus 5% pip chance, right? Or, yeah, 5% more pips, basically, yeah. And then it will give you a 10% increase to the death attacks that attack you, because obviously that's the opposite of life. So just keep that in mind, and that's for 4 rounds. Now, the difference between Mend and Cycle of Life is that Mend will just give you the 20% outgoing, and that's it, you know? And that's the same thing with Renew. It's just going to give you that 25%, which is the same thing as Cycle of Life, but that's it. It's not going to give you like a bonus pip stat, or it's not going to income damage or anything. It's just that baseline of it. Now, personally for me, I don't need that, just because my pet actually has a Maycast Cycle of Life, and this one is actually an enchanted version, or at least a pet-specific version that's actually way better. So what tends to happen is that my pet will basically just spam this aura whenever she can, and so I usually don't actually need to have that aura. And I forgot to mention that if your pet does do, you know, a specific Maycast aura, then you probably don't need some of these damage auras, because your pet can already Maycast that. But if you do want to have it in your deck just in case you don't want to rely on your pet, then definitely go for the Mend, especially if you're a healer or a Death Wizard that's healing. Definitely would recommend Cycle of Life, just because of that pip increase and the 25% outgoing. You can also get Renew if you really want, but in order to get Renew, you would need to get the other one, which is Mend, so that's already 2 training points down there. Now, talking about Infallible, again, if you really need Pierce and Accuracy, go for it, and if you really need Critical, you can go for Vengeance. Berserk is really good. I like this spell, and I like going for the, whatchamacallit, the other one, Frenzy. This is a 40% outgoing damage, but you're going to be taking 30% incoming damage. But this is really nice to have, because you can basically maximize your damage. Now let's go with more enchantments of charms and stuff like that. Potent Trap will put a 10% to your negative ward spell, like a trap, basically. Yeah, it says Potent Trap. It will basically increase that to 10%. Definitely would recommend that, especially for a feint. Because if you have a feint, then that would be plus 80, which is pretty cool. Sharpen Blade, again, that'll be plus 10 to whatever blade you have. Now, Aegis will actually protect your charms. Let's say you give yourself a shield or a blade. You can basically put that on that. And this also works with shielded types of spells, like Rebirth. So if I wanted to protect my spells, because the Rebirth that I use, it gives everybody a Absorb Shield. Let's say I wanted to protect the Absorb Shield, I can basically put that with Aegis, which is really cool. I really like that fact that you can do that. It's pretty cool. Now, Indemnity, this will basically protect your traps. I would highly recommend Indemnity, because every single boss usually likes to do something with the feint. There's always a feint cheat I'm sure that you know of. Definitely would recommend Indemnity, and definitely would recommend Aegis, because there are bosses that will take your blades. Or, for example, an Earthquake might happen, right? If somebody casts the Earthquake spell, then, you know, you're going to lose all your blades, so, you know, it's always good to have that. But otherwise, that clears it for the aura spells. I'm not really going to go for the polymorphs, because you shouldn't be using polymorphs. But, you know, if it really comes to the factor, maybe I'll make a separate video if you really want to know. But now that we got the auras out of the way, I wasn't planning. I'm probably not even gonna upload this. It's already way too long. But now shadows. Shadow spells, man, are the key. And you can go to the shadow school teacher. She basically teaches you all the shadow spells, all the shadow shifts, and all that stuff. Pretty cool stuff. There's actually one that does moon shifts that's in the Chrysalis, but we won't go over that, maybe for another video. But we're gonna talk to the shadow teacher, Velma. She has Shadow Strike, Shadow Sentinel, Dark Fiend, Dark Nova, Donate Shadow. I'm gonna tell you guys, or at least recommend what you guys. Shadow Strike is good. It gives you a 50% pierce to pierce through enemy armor. It gives you a 10% damage increase, but you'll get a minus 25 health reduction, right? So when you're using this, just be aware that you're going to be taking like a little minus health regen, or basically minus incoming health. Now, Shadow Sentinel is good for the tanks, usually. If you're like a tank class, this is definitely good for you, because it's going to intercept at least, basically, like, Yeah, it's gonna intercept 180% block. I've never really understood that. Basically, you're just gonna have a lot of critical block. You also get minus 10% incoming damage. And basically, what happens is that whatchamacallit, it will intercept the damage. Basically, it will intercept minus 10% incoming damage. Wait, I know what the intercept one thing means a little bit, but Shadow Sentinel is good because you'll basically be taking 25% of the damage. I wish it actually said that. It doesn't say that on the card of how much intercepted damage that you do. It doesn't actually. I'm just noticing that now. Wow, that that needs to be updated. Yeah, okay. But anyway, intercepts 25% of the damage, help your team out. Dark Fiend is one of like the shadow shifting things that you do. 915 base after 2 healing, or not 2 healing, 2 damage to enemies. This transformation likes blades, you know, I guess traps and stuff like that. We got Dark Nova, which is also can do a lot of heavy damage. Like I said, if you can put blades on yourself, this thing will do a crazy amount of damage. Especially if you put the right blades on, it will do a lot of damage. Now, these actually cost 2 Shadow Pips, and then stuff like Shadow Strike and Sentinel, the one where you polymorph into, those only cost 1 Shadow Pip. I would highly recommend Shadow Sentinel if you're going for like a tank class, but I would also recommend Shadow Strike, because there's a lot of enemies that have a lot of enemy armor. Now, donate Shadow Pip, I would not get. If you're someone that doesn't use Shadow Pips and you just want to give somebody your Shadow Pip, I just feel like for 2 Shadow Pips, you're donating 1, but for 2 Shadow Pips. If it was for 1 Shadow Pip, I might consider this spell, but the fact that you actually have to get 2 Shadow Pips in order to give one of your players 1 Shadow Pip, it just seems kind of like counterintuitive. I mean, personally for me, it's a great spell, but I don't know, I guess it's to prevent spam, because I know people would just be giving each other pips over and over again. But still, for 2 Shadow Pips, I just feel like for that time, they would already have their Shadow Pip. So I usually don't use that spell, and I generally just don't use it at all. But that was it for like the Shadow School type of thing. Main thing is, you definitely want Shadow Strike, especially if you're something like a Storm or just an attacking class. You really want that Pierce. Now, going on from that, we gotta talk about stuff that you don't know, like feints and stuff like that. You can basically get the feint card from the Death School teacher. I'm not gonna go over that. And you can also get the Tower Shield from the Ice School teacher. And it doesn't have to be in the Arcanum, guys. It can be in Ravenwood. Fire has some pretty cool stuff. You know, every class has their own specific stuff. But I'm going to show you the stuff that the Balancer, every teacher doesn't really have. I'm going to show you those spots and basically where to get it, like reshuffles and stuff like that. So there's a part where we get into reshuffles. It's actually all the way in Wizard City. Now, don't worry, because not that many people actually have Reshuffle. Believe it or not, this spell is actually secretly hidden. Not that many people even know where to even get Reshuffles. Now, pardon the lag if we do end up getting in a crowded realm. My laptop might spaz out. It's literally might spaz out. But Reshuffle. It's actually in Wizard City. Now, this is a membership crown type of area, so if you don't have access to this area, then you can't get Reshuffle, unfortunately. But it's in... If I can just move, there we go. Alright, we're doing good so far. My laptop hasn't burned to a crisp yet, so, that's good. But, Reshuffle, it's in this... A lot of people don't know that is the thing. Like, a lot of people actually don't know this. But, here we go. Yes, you guessed it right. It's in Colossus Boulevard. This is the snow area. So, you want to go over here, right? And again, not that many people know about this, so keep it on the DL. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. But, yeah, I recommend Reshuffle for everybody. This is, you know, a lot of people, you know, especially Balance Wizards, like, I'm sorry, I don't want to be that guy, but I'm gonna be that guy. If you're a Balance Wizard, this is definitely the card that you need. Reshuffle is an amazing spell. Like, the fact that you can reshuffle your deck and get all your cards back is amazing. And it really intrigues me how some balance wizards, or just people in general, don't have this, because it's just in an area that you wouldn't even believe. So I'm going to pull up the map right here. This is in Colossus Boulevard. There's going to be this alleyway, right? It's going to be all the way down in this archway type alleyway, this secret little area, right? The lights are going to look like they're off, but you can go inside this, right? And let me tell you, a lot of people don't know about this this teacher that gives Reshuffle out. So we're going to go to here. Mildred, over here. She also has the Dispels. So if you ever needed your own Dispel, it will be for free. So since I'm a Life Wizard, I got the Life Dispel for free because I'm a Life Wizard. But Reshuffle's right here. I feel like they should put the Reshuffle next to the Balance Teacher. I don't know why. But this is where Reshuffle is as of now. As I'm recording this, this is where it is. And I can't tell you how many people don't have that spell. It's such a good spell. You know, I play with a lot of Storm Wizards, right? And they're always, you know, people put small hits in so they can get their cards, right? But the thing is, though, they run out of cards, and they end up wanting a Reshuffle. So I have to, like, sacrifice my pips to give them a Reshuffle. Which is unfortunate, but if you have your own Reshuffle, and you stack that, you can basically just reshuffle yourself, basically. Highly recommend Reshuffle for everyone, but if you don't have access to Colossus Boulevard, then unfortunately you will not be able to actually get that spell. Which is why I want them to give that to the Balance Teacher at least, or something like that. I just think everybody should have a Reshuffle. I wish they kind of like incorporated that with that. Okay. And now for the final spell, just because this is a 20-minute video, apologies. But for the last spell, it is actually all the way in Krakatopia. Now, surprisingly, the Balance Teacher, again, going in from, you know, some of the teachers, the Balance Teacher doesn't actually have this. When you go to Krakatopia, you tell the Balance Teacher or Arcanum, they actually don't have this spell. You actually have to go all the way to the Balance Tree, which is all the way in Krakatopia. Again, if you don't have access to Krakatopia or the Arcanum, well, not Arcanum, if you don't have access to Krakatopia, then, you know, you're kind of screwed. And if you don't have access to the boat that takes you all the way to the other side, again, you just kind of like SOL, man. But we're going here. You can skip the boat ride if you want, but I kind of like it. It's kind of chill. It's kind of a chill boat ride, right? Very relaxing, very zen. I like that. Now the tree is going to be named Niles, I believe. Niles or mine? Yeah, Niles. Now he's going to give you the elemental traps, elemental blades, and all that stuff, right? This is what you need. Elemental blades, highly recommend. Highly recommend you get that. Spirit blades, highly recommend. And this is like school specific. Like, you don't have to get every one of these. I would only recommend it if like you're trying to do it for like a school specific build or something like that. But if you go to Niles, Niles basically gives you all of that stuff. And so that pretty much leaves it for the... Oh, you know what? There's actually one more thing I want to show you guys. One more that's actually interesting, and that is the prisms. A lot of people don't have a prism. Look, I don't know how they don't have a prism, or, you know, if you do have a prism, good for you, but if you still don't know where the prisms are, I'm going to show you. It's all the way in Avalon. Again, if you don't have any of these worlds unlocked, I kind of feel bad for you. But we're going to go all the way to Avalon, and I believe it's in, like, the Wild or the Weird or something like that. The Wild. I'm trying to remember the location. I don't want to, like, sit here and, like, ramble on for any long, but basically, this is where... I think there's actually two spell trainers, actually, here. There's one up here, so you go to the Wild. One up here. I remember, there has to be one up here, like... They spawn, like, around here, like, up here. So up here, we got Cassie the Ponycorn, right? She is going to have the mass prisms. So she will have all of the mass type prisms, which is really cool. make sure you invest in that, because Mass Prism is a pretty good spell. Now, there's another teacher. Alright, I'm back. Sorry, I was selling something. Oh, it's all good. It's all good, bro. I was helping somebody quest in Azteca. I was helping someone quest in Azteca. Alright. So, there's another Enya. Okay. All the way on the other side. Soon. All the way on the other side of this, we're gonna go get the other spell card. I believe this teacher, whatchamacallit, I believe this teacher actually drops like the Pierce Blades or something like that. I'm not sure. If it's not the Pierce Blade or if it's something I missed, I'm obviously gonna redo this video, but for the most part, that's mainly the gist of everything. So Enya over here, she does drop the spears. Okay, that's pretty interesting. Alright, so she drops the spears. Okay. There's actually one more thing. Look, I'm sorry. There's like one more thing. I know. I apologize. This one is actually all the way in Chrysalis. Again, if you don't have access to any of these worlds, then you're kind of screwed. Now, for the one in Chrysalis, I forgot. I didn't forget, but I forgot how to get there. But I'm going to try and get there real quick. Actually, you know what? I'll just end it here because this video is too long and I'm probably not even going to upload it. Hopefully that helped you out a little bit. So make sure to go to your teachers and make sure to get your treasure cards. Not treasure cards, but training points. But the reason I'm making this video is because they mentioned that they're going to make some of the treasure cards actually trainable. So we did a hypothesis or theory. Obviously, you would have to use a training point to get those specific treasure card spells that they're gonna make. So make sure you have enough training points and all that stuff. I'm super excited, but I'm just gonna leave. I'm probably not even gonna upload. I'm probably not even gonna upload this. But thank you for watching. Hopefully that helped you out a little bit, and I will see you guys next time. Peace. Peace out and good night.